All right, this is Black Powder Shotgun Load Data Part 3. So you're watching The Catch Today. I'm Davin Sunvik, and this is just going to be a very basic video, so I do appreciate your patience with this one. I'm just holding it with my hand, so I'm going to try to be as steady as I can. But let's get right into it. So what we've done is we have decreased the amount of powder and increased the amount of shot in our varying loads that we're loading here, and we're trying to find a really good dove load here today. So I believe we actually found it on the first trial. You'll actually see we tried a magnum version of a dove load and it just did not work out as well. But anyway, we're using 3.5 drams of black powder, and this is 1.5 ounces a shot. Shot size number 7.5. We got 130 pellets on a 12 by 12 piece of paper. And if you do the math and you divide that into a 30-inch circle, as long as we're getting fairly close distribution, that's about a 95% pellet count, which is what I like to see. Now, you'll notice the pellets are favored slightly towards the left side of the target. We may have been able to get more pellets on target if I was aiming a little bit more closer to dead center. But that's beside the point. That could have just been the wind or me, or maybe my gun just shoots to the left and I need to figure that out. But whatever the case may be, pattern is just slightly to the left, but not too big of a deal. Overall, it's pretty well. And if we look at the, and this bore is a full choke, and then the bottom bore, this is a 10 gauge. We are shooting a improved cylinder or a modified choke. I don't know exactly, but it's pretty much a modified. Now, 95% pellet count is fine for the top cylinder, mainly because, you know, I do want to be able to reach out and touch things on that top cylinder. But this bottom cylinder, 61%, is actually that sweet spot. And if you look at this piece of paper here at 40 yards, no reason why a dove would be able to fly in between any of these spots here, other than maybe this top section. I noticed that it was slightly favoring the bottom compared to the top. So again, that could have just been me aiming a little bit low. And so maybe that 61% could have been slightly higher if I had just aimed a little higher. You know, hindsight's always 20/20. So we got to take the human factor into it as well, obviously. But again, that's that same 3.5 drams a shot. This is the underbarrel, 1.5 ounces. Sorry, 3.5 drams of powder, 1.5 ounces a shot, number 7.5 BB, and we're shooting at 40 yards. And I think at 40 yards, this is pretty much going to be my load for my bottom barrel here. And the top barrel worked just fine. I'd probably just only take longer shots with the top barrel. All right, now we are moving on to the magnum load. Now, I think I cheated my gun a little bit, mainly because I was trying to save some money and not use my bismuth. So I was still using that 7.5 size pellet, and I wanted to see if it liked a 4 dram load at 1.75 ounces. And I think that's just too much shot, too much powder for that small of a pellet for my gun to really enjoy, because we only got 57% pattern density. That's 70 pellets on paper. And then again, if you divide that into what a 30-inch target would have been, it's about a 57% pattern, which sounds fine on its face, but that's really not what we're looking for when it comes to that particular choke. That full choke, I do expect a tighter pattern out of it, so that 57% tells me that there is something inherently wrong with this load. Maybe the pressures are a little too high for the shot size, or it just doesn't like it, or it's just, you know, interacting with the gun in a weird way. Whatever it is, you know, I gotta just admit that this is just not a favorable load. Now, we go to the bottom barrel here with that magnum load, and it gets even worse. We're only looking at 30 pellets on target at 40 yards, which leads to about a 24%, you know, pattern density on a 30-inch target. If you were to divide it out. And so that's awful, right? So it's pretty apparent that we're going to have to go with that lighter load in the smaller shot size. And if I want to save money, I'm probably just going to have to, you know, bite the bullet and buy some 4-shot lead to be able to hand load with. That way I can, test out my loads, do some target shooting, shoot rabbits or things like that, and just have some 4-shot lead on hand. And obviously I won't hunt ducks with it, but I could hunt pheasants or other things like that with it. And, maybe a magnum load with some 4-shot would work well. I don't know if you watched part 1, but if you did, you'll know that we had little pieces of unburnt black powder that were sticking to the paper and going through the paper, which tells me that we were loading way too much black powder and it just was not an efficient load. So these loads are definitely showing a lot higher efficiency. I think the penetration is fine on these pellets. I mean, they're penetrating into wood and things like that, which kind of shows me like if it'll penetrate into a really hard substance like wood, it'll penetrate into a really soft thing like the tissue of a bird. So, again, not perfectly scientific, but I do believe that this is the load I'm going to take out with me dove loading. I believe that first load is going to be what I'm going to take out dove loading. I'm going to have to retry this load again with some bigger pellets, and maybe that'll just change the pressures a little bit and help it shoot a little better. So again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.